So guys, thanks again for the continued support on this channel. Really, really means a lot. And again, I don't think I mentioned in the last video, Wayside Life, go and check his YouTube channel out. It's thanks to him that we're getting some very, very good thumbnails, and I'm really appreciating the hard work. So thanks, man. You're a star. Unfortunately, the person I'm going to talk about now is someone that I'm not particularly very happy with or proud of in any way, shape or form. Dour David Moyes. Okay. Right. Where'd you start? Following Sam Allardyce's departure to England in July 2016, and bearing in mind that he only really left for the sake of one game in hindsight, which was really, really annoying, the side says it all, really. Right, first of all, when David Moyes initially came into Sunderland, he was somebody who he was somebody I was happy with. I was actually happy with the appointment of David Moyes, and I did feel like there was a lot of there were some people that were negative because he hadn't done anything at Sociedad or United. Now, bearing in mind, Sociedad culture and country and league is completely different to England, and Man United, that season, that job would have been a poison chalice in some respects. Not because it should be in general. Man United are one of the biggest clubs in the world, if not the biggest, you could argue. But I think because they've just, Sir Alex Ferguson had just literally left Manchester United, and anyone who went there that season, in comparison to Ferguson, would have struggled anyway. Should that team have finished 7th that Moyes had? No, probably not. But, it wasn't going to do anywhere near as good as what Ferguson had done with it. But coming into Sunderland, I feel that I felt, and I still kind of feel, there was no excuse for this appointment not to have worked. Where'd you start with them? Okay, first of all, one of the crucial decisions in the summer. First of all, we let Yunus Kabul go, which, if it was for family reasons and he wanted to see his son or visit family in hospitals in London or be nearer them, that's fine. I've got no issue with that. But spending £8 million on Papi Dilla Dodgy, one of the worst Sunderland defenders I've ever seen, that's very questionable. Letting Yedlin go, who I didn't think Yedlin did a bad job. I think I'd rather have had him than Javier Manquillo, because Yedlin would have at least shown pace occasionally, and that at least could have bailed him out on a few occasions. And the biggest regret, and this is on Martin Bain as well, by the way, not going for Yann Villa for, what was it, £6-7 million? Reportedly, anyway. That's what the quoted fees were. And he was someone who did well for us the previous year. When you look at the midfield of Yann Villa, Lee Cattermole and Jan Kirchhoff, it completely dominated the bottom half of the Premier League in games that we played anyway. And to not go for Villa was criminal. Even if wages were going to be higher, but we still spent over twice as much on Didier and Dong, who we ended up letting go for free. We ended up sacking him, basically. So, Yann Villa is someone we should have gone for, but nevertheless, that's by the by. I'm not going to go over Moyes' results too much, because I kind of want to talk more about the state of the players and the mindset of the management team at the club that season. Everyone knows what happened by now. Sunderland got relegated, and we finished on 24 points. I think it was 24 points, in 20th place, and I'm getting sick of this idea that people said, relegation was coming. It was coming for all the years and all this. Well, no, I don't really buy that. I don't think there was no excuse for that. There was no reason that we had to get relegated. I would actually go back to one of the Roker Report podcasts from many years ago. And there was a guy called Damien Brown, who I don't think is on Twitter anymore. But if he's watching this, it was a point that he made and said that the point about us needing to get relegated was... how do I do it without swearing too much? Garbage. Let's put it that way. He said there was absolutely no reason that we had to get relegated, and that was just and I agree with him completely. For me, that was just an excuse for abject and pathetic displays from players that were supposed to wear that shirt with pride and honour and passion and integrity, and they didn't show that. Lamine Kone is the biggest example of this. 6 months, he actually tries. He actually puts in 100% with what he does, and then, since then, you look at that. Even though we lost 4-1 to Arsenal at the Stadium of Light. Now, don't get me wrong, I expect Sunderland to get beat off Arsenal. I don't expect Lamine Kone to get out-jumped by Alexis Sanchez for a header, though. That's not good enough. That's criminal. Even you can say, Alexis is good at jumping. I don't care. Coney was good at jumping. We saw that in the first 6 months that he was here. There was no excuse for me that he got out-jumped by Alexis Sanchez, and I'm not having that. Moyes' comments after 2 games, in hindsight, we're in a relegation battle, was wrong, because it put in a negative mindset of the players. Now, personally, I think the players reacted the wrong way. I think that what they should have done was shown their management, come on, let's go and prove you wrong. But it depends on personalities. Some people just don't react to that in a positive manner whatsoever. One of the biggest things Moyes did that I really don't get and understand and agree with, and I still don't, and it still annoys me to this day actually, is that he drops Wabi Kazri and he continuously won't use him and won't use him and won't use him and won't use him. And apparently, the apparent reason was that his alleged lack of work rate and work ethic. Yet he constantly played Adnan Januzaj, who was 10 times worse for that. And Januzaj was someone I was happy with when we first signed him, but unfortunately, after about 3 or 4 games, it became apparent that he didn't want to battle for us. Well, no, you're not what we need, and I'm pretty. And even though Kazri, we didn't win a game when Kazri started, when Kazri was on the pitch, I could tell Sunderland straight away looked better. We looked better when we looked better going forward as well. We looked like there was more of a plan going forward. And I remember the infamous when Kazri scored directly from a corner against West Ham. The crowd was singing, "Are you watching David Moyes?" It's like, well, yeah. But remember, winning's what he does, apparently. So, will he keep West Ham up? Yeah, probably. But it's probably because the teams below them are so devoid of confidence. It's not really a great achievement on Moyes' part, is it? Look, ultimately, I do want West Ham. I want Moyes to go down. Not West Ham particularly, but I do want Moyes to go down just so that people can see what a fraud of a manager he was. Well, and obviously there was issues behind the scenes with Ellis Short and Martin Bain and all that. But at the end of the day, I've always said on SCFC Fan TV, I'm very quick to give Short the main portion of the blame for the second relegation. Even though I do think Grayson and Coleman should have done a lot better with what they had, but I'll get onto that in videos to come. The first relegation, I don't actually put much blame on Ellis Shaw because I think he did give Moyes money to spend and Moyes just didn't bother to get the best out of what he had. That is mainly on Moyes and the players. And there's only a handful of players that season I can actually think of that fully tried hardest. Like John O'Shea, I'm going to call Billy Jones, he just wasn't good enough. Lee Catmull when he was playing, Jermaine Defoe, those are just a number of players off the top of my head. There'll be a Jordan Pickford. If it wasn't for him, we'd have been relegated sooner. Look, guys, I love you and leave yous there. David Moyes, will rightly go down in history as one of the worst Sunderland managers we ever had. He's probably my least favourite ever Sunderland manager, just because while Grayson and Coleman, I think, really underperformed what they had, and I didn't like Advocat, I still can't bring them to say that they were worse than Moyes, because they're not. Moyes just had a dour attitude from the start, and his demeanour was all wrong. It was, I'm doing this club a favour. Like, well, no, we're giving you a chance to get back in the Premier League, mate. I suggest you start remembering that. If he came out and just took a bit of responsibility, then fair enough, but there you go. Right, that's the last of the Premier League ones. Only gets better from here. Take care, guys. I'll love yous and leave yous, and hopefully we're all safe and back in football soon. Take care.